Hi there, I'm Jackie, and today I'm doing a paint pour project, and my inspiration comes from looking at my favorite beach totally frozen in the middle of the winter, because I'm trying to capture that feeling of the gray and the white and the blue sky, and underneath all that, there's some magic happening, and I'm going to try and uncover some of that magic in a paint pour. So I've got these three 4-inch by 4-inch tiles, and I'm putting some teal paint right in the middle. And I'm just going to let it flow a little bit. And this is going to be the base. Not really measuring, I'm just taking my best guess at it. And I'm just going to let that flow a little bit further. I'm going to be adding some paint to this. But then I'm going to put an open cup ring on each one. These are really tiny. And then I'm just going to randomly put some paint in the middle of each one. I was going to do these in different order, but I decided I'm going to do three the same and just see how you can do the same thing and get very different results. I might be surprised. I might find these come out very similar. So there's some aqua paint. I'm going to put a bit of glittery white because I like to have a bit of glitter. And I'm going to put in some dark green. I love some dark green. And then I'm going to put in some light blue. This yellowy gold, just a tiny bit. I want a tiny bit of that just to give it something totally different. And of course my dark blue. Love the dark blue. Oops. And I'm going to top it off with some straight white. Tiny bit of light gold right in the center. Now I'm just going to let these sit for a couple of minutes. All right, so I'm going to try and lift this cup up a bit, maybe shift it around. Let's see what happens here. Now this one, I think I'm going to run it around. I'm working with the same colors, wanting to see how I can get different results. So the first one I just lifted up, and then I kind of shimmied it around. And this one I'm going to try and pulse it as I bring it up and see what happens. Yeah, that to me is looking very flowery. So here I'm uncovering more of those underlying colors, seeing what I can get. Very interesting. And this one I think I'll just let it flow. And see what comes up. So in the end I'm using all the same colors, but depending on how I play with the paint, I'm going to get very different results here. Which I think will be very interesting. So as I've let these just kind of flow and see what happens with the paint, I'm finding that shapes are starting to take place. This is definitely looking like a flower, this one on the end. The one in the middle is starting to look a lot like a jellyfish. If I turn it at this angle, maybe you'll see the jellyfish happening there. Very cool. That gold is really doing its job. And this one is looking like a wave. I kind of see this wave action happening. So I'm just going to let these sit and see what happens, and I'll come back to them after they've sat for a bit. I'll come back and show you what they did in the end. So I let these dry for a couple of days. I put on 2 coats of Minwax polyacrylic clear gloss just to protect the paint, and I've put a foam backing on each one. This is just that thin craft foam that you can get, and I cut it into squares slightly smaller than my tile. And now I'm going to embellish them with sea glass. So what amazes me about this project is that you can do the exact same thing and get really different results, because these 3 pieces are very different from one another. Even though I use the same color paint, the same amount of paint, the same size tile, and I'm quite taken by these 3 totally different pieces that I got in the end. And I'm just going to attach a little bit of sea glass just to add some interest, and they will be 3 little beach treasures. So thanks so much for joining me for this video. If you have any questions or comments, post them in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you. And I hope that you make it out to the beach and that you have some good luck with your sea glassing. So happy sea glass hunting, everyone.